All right, Randy Patterson, Planning Commission.
Good evening, gentlemen. I'm Randy Patterson. I live in Churchill, Tennessee. Been a Hawkins County citizen all my life. I'm here to verbally apply for the position in the Planning Commission that is open. I feel like it's best to do it verbal, accept any questions or whatever. That was offered 2 weeks ago, so we're going to do it verbal. I have owned a business for over 40 years. Splitting land, dividing land, meeting with the state, county, and officials in how to go about it, what to do. It is a very complicated, serious matter. I feel like I bring a lot to the table of knowledge, common sense, and also of study. That is pretty well what I have to offer. I listened to several people from the state, met with them. We have owned a very successful business without any kind of fines or anything. There's more to splitting property doing than people think. Planning Commission has a tough job. And why anybody would volunteer for it, I have no idea. I don't know why I am, but anything I can do to service my county, and I feel like this is the right position, that I can be a benefit and an asset to this county to further it and to make it a better place. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer it. That's it. I've been married 51 years next month. That's the best thing I can do. So, if anybody got any questions, feel free to ask. I'll be glad to answer. I've taken several classes. I've even attended classes at ETSU on grain runoff, blueprint reading. There's more than just land laying there when you start dividing. It's soil science, and several different elements you have to deal with from the county and the state. And I have dealt with those people, and I feel like I could be an asset to the county.
Thank you. Mr. Patterson, question for you before you leave the front. I had talked to Commissioner Barrett, who said he wanted to put your name into consideration, but this commission had asked for resumes and information prior to the meeting. So that's what we went by, and he said that you declined to provide a resume. Is that the case?
That is not the case. It is the case and not the case. I have the text. I asked for a phone call rather than text. I told him I would be more than glad to meet with him, give him all whatever he needed. I would be glad to come to the mayor's office and sit down and do an interview to full extent. So if you had any questions, I could answer. I don't think you can write down your value or what you've got to offer somebody in this situation. There's a lot more to it than just writing, I can do this, I can do that, I can do this. I think you can get a better feeling of a person, and you also have to have questions. If you're going to put somebody in a position like this, it's a very important position, both ways. And I feel like you can do it better by giving your resume like this when you put yourself up, you know, for anything. But I'll say there was more text went out asking for a phone call to wind it up to see. I couldn't get that phone call back. There's a phone call went to my other district too, and I'm not going off on anybody. I didn't get a return phone call. So what am I to do? If your commissioners in your district won't answer your phone, what do you, and I don't expect an answer right then, but I expect an answer in a day or two. But if you don't get that, and you've got to send another text 3 or 4 days later, and you still don't get a return call, what do you do?
Okay. Well, I'm going by the state requirement that I appoint the person and this commission says yes or no to that person. I didn't get anything from you in time to get it out to the commission. I was just told that you weren't going to provide a resume. That's what I was told.
You didn't get the whole story.
Okay, well, I apologize.
I'm sorry, and
I apologize for that. But
I'm not trying to throw no stones at nobody.
Mhm.
You know, that's not what we're here for.
Right.
And really, you know, I'm here to volunteer because of sister county to do better and go forward. And that's what it's all about. It ain't about anything else.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
To the Honorable Mark DeWitt, Chairman and members of the Hawkins County Board of Commissioners regular session at this 27th day of January 2025. Resolution of reference appointment to the Hawkins County Planning Commission for a 4-year term. Whereas each district of the Hawkins County Planning Commission is to have representation, and whereas several commissioners were reappointed at the December 2024 commission meeting and are listed below. Whereas District 2 Representative John Itson elected not to be reappointed last month, resulting in an opening on the commission in that district. Now therefore be it resolved that Timothy L. Lingerfeld, a resident of District 2 in Hawkins County, be appointed to the Planning Commission for the remainder of the 4-year term ending November 30, 2028. The complete list of the commissioners now being District 1, Garrett White through November 30, 2027. District 2, Timothy L. Lingerfeld through November 30, 2028. District 3, Thomas Hicks through November 30, 2028. District 4, Lynn Norris through November 30, 2025. District 5, Steve Nelson through November 30, 2025. District 6, Charles Brooks through November 30, 2027. District 7, Mike Lacey through November 30, 2027. E911 Representative Donna Hitcher through November 30, 2027. At-large member Edwin Cope through November 30, 2028. Road Superintendent Danny Jones, term to correspond with respect to term in office. Non-voting members, term to correspond with respect to term in office. County Mayor, Chairman of the County Industrial Development Board, and Stormwater Runoff Officer. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
Got a motion on the floor from Commissioner Roach, second Commissioner Gibson. Any questions or discussion?
Mr. Chairman, can I ask if, is Mr. Lingerfeld here? Okay. And I think I'm going to do this right, so just bear with me. Mr. Chairman, I move to divide the question by separating District 2, Timothy L. Lingerfeld, and voting on that separately. That requires a second. It's not debatable.
I'll second.
Okay, give us just a second.
Okay, I'm sorry. What was that?
It's a move to divide the question to separate District 2, Timothy L. Lingerfeld, from the resolution. Because, okay, so to vote on that separately, and it requires a second, but that resolution is not debatable.
Okay, basically that's what this resolution does because everybody else is already appointed.
Okay, fair enough. In that case, I would like to at least consider Mr. Patterson, and I'll tell you why. However, procedurally, we need to do that. Because I feel like if you want to raise your hand and say, I want to try to serve the community in a position such as Planning Commission, you know, I'd like to see at least a shot to be able to do that. Mr. Patterson has been involved in the ad hoc committee. He worked for free up until a time when he couldn't any longer. And he has a pretty good reason for why he couldn't continue in that. And I would like to just consider him as well. He asked to serve. He may not win in a vote between himself and Mr. Lingerfeld, but I'd like to at least have that option.
Well, the clarification on that is there is no vote between the two of them. Because the mayor presents the candidate and the commission approves or disapproves. Okay?
Thank
Is
you.
that all?
Yes, sir.
All right. Commissioner Jeff Barrett.
Thank you, Mark. Just for clarification purposes, I did receive a call from Mr. Patterson that I had missed a call, and I sent Mr. Patterson a text message And I kind of, just for, clarification purposes, kind of read this transaction back and forth to the people, and to the commissioners. Text message says, this is from me to Mr. Patterson, said, "Hello, Randy. Sorry I missed your call earlier. Could you provide a resume that I could forward to the county mayor for consideration of the planning commission opening?" Randy texted back and he says, "When do you need it?" I respond back, I would say pretty soon, so that the mayor could have it for consideration. The commission will meet on the 27th and should vote on filling the vacancy then. Randy Patterson texted me back and he says, "When you get time, can you call me the next few days?" I responded back to the text. I said to Mr. Patterson, "Would tomorrow be good for you?" And then Mr. Patterson texted me back. He says, "Jeff, I would be glad to answer any questions you or any other commissioner has. I know all of you pretty good, and you all know me as well. No one I know has ever done a written resume for a committee position. I know when I go to the election poll, I don't see a written resume, but I see names, like the past year, for example, you. I just voted. Sorry to bother you and take up your time. I will not be doing a written resume, but open to any questions anyone may have, and I will stand on my background and proud of what I have been blessed enough to help this great county of ours. Thanks for your time. I still remain available to help our county in any way I can. Have a good night." And that was the end of the text messages back and forth between me and Mr. Patterson. And that's the text. And I just, put that out there. So, if there's any misunderstanding, that's what I went off of.
Okay, and I understand that resume hasn't been required before, but this commission is the one that asked me to have resumes. And
I don't, may I speak?
yes,
Okay. I don't know what the rules is about, you and the commission and all of that. I've been unfortunate, or been fortunate enough that we bought another house in Boone. I haven't been around the commission like I was to know the do's and the don'ts, the rules. But if you'll notice during this text message, what Jeff read out is exactly right. But the meaning is make sure we know. I wanted a phone call to talk person to person, not text to text. And I was willing to do anything as far as come to your office, spend my time, an hour and a half a day, whatever it took, to give you a complete resume and a better resume than I could ever put on paper. Because I guarantee you, if I wrote a resume out on paper, you're going to have questions about my resume. And I won't be there to answer. But if I'm there in person, presenting, volunteering my time, then I feel like you would get a better feel and know my knowledge and my understanding. And I know it will take up your time, but it will take up your time just reading a piece of paper and being left with questions more than it would if me and you were having a conversation.
I don't disagree with that. The only thing is, this commission has directed me to get written resumes.
Then I wouldn't explain, see, if I've been explained it had to be in that, is the only way it be considered, then I probably wouldn't go. I'm not saying I would have.
Okay.
Because I was busy, but
Okay.
I would have probably wrote one out. Because volunteering for a job like that is, there's no money involved enough for anybody to be on.
Hey, there's $50 a month involved.
I'm telling you, it's time. And I know that from the ad hoc committee all the way up. I realize if you never serve, don't say nothing to nobody. No commissioner, no nothing. Because the time that you all put in, these committee people put in, they need a pat on the back most of the time instead of somebody saying something about it,
Okay,
in my opinion.
okay,
But that's I deserve the phone call back. I asked for it. I called my other commissioner, still no phone call. I don't know what to do. I guess they'll learn when election time comes. They'll get a resume from it. It will be on the books. That's all I've got to say.
okay. Let's move on, Commissioner Trent.
It was my understanding, Mr. Mayor, that all candidates for committees and things in the future were to be present when we were voting on it. Is that correct?
I don't think that was ever said, but it may have been and I missed it.
Anybody else remember that? No?
I faintly remember that if it pertained to money, they had to be present. Yes.
Right.
And they really should be present, Commissioners. Yeah. I don't know why the other gentleman's not here, but he certainly should be. And Randy, I thank you for willing to serve. Mark, Mayor, did you say 50? You pay $50 a month or $50 per meeting?
Yes, $50 a meeting.
Okay.
Okay. Commissioner Gill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So a couple of clarifications. So I'm actually the one who reached out to Randy and asked him to be here tonight. So I was under the understanding that we would be able to vote on the floor. So I apologize to you, Mayor. I have misunderstood that in terms of the procedure behind it. Number two, the reason that I reached out to Randy is as you get into the planning commission and you talk to people who deal with that, who are developing land, we need people on that commission, on the planning commission, who have done development. That is very, very important that they have that experience. Listen, I love college degrees, I love accolades, I love all that stuff, that's great. But you know, it's one thing if you're picking a surgeon, you wouldn't want the one necessarily that had read the book about it, you want the one who'd done it for years. They could help you a whole lot more. And I think that is true in this case. And, you know, Mr. Patterson, I have known him a decent amount of time. I knew he had done it. So that's why I reached out to him, because I think that experience is important. One, and I'm not saying the other gentleman doesn't have this mindset, but an important mindset that you get when you do things such as development, you start looking at how can we do things rather than why we can't. That is a very different perspective that we need to have when it comes to folks that have as much power over development as the Planning Commission does. If there's a reason that we can't, okay, if there's a procedure or a reason that we can't do something, okay, maybe that's why we can't, but how can we do it? How can we work with developers and develop this county? It's no secret to anybody sitting up here, we need tax revenue. We need a broader tax base. And the way we do that is through development. And we need experienced developers that are willing to serve on the Planning Commission. I do believe Mr. Patterson or someone of similar background would add value to the Planning Commission. And that was my reason for bringing him here tonight. And I appreciate you coming, and I apologize for the mix-up in my understanding of the rules. So I apologize about that.
All right, is that all, Commissioner Gill?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Thacker.
Mr. Mayor, could we not amend this resolution by putting Mr. Lingerfeld's name and Randy Patterson's name out? He let us vote on it.
No, that, you know, I would love to be able to do that, but that would be in violation of the state how to do planning commission members. Mr. Gibson.
I just want to call a question.
All right, question's been called.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to speak. I pressed this button for 10 minutes.
All right, go ahead.
You've got a nominee that we didn't have a choice in who was nominated. And yet you come to us and asked us
to approve this committee. If I don't have a say who his nominee is that's gonna be on that committee, you don't need me, I don't need, if I can't vote for it, you know, why bring it to me to vote on it?
I asked the commissioners from
And
District 2 to
I'm
come
aware
up
of the
with
fact
these.
that I was a man that asked for a brief biography when we vote on committees. But I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm gonna sit here tonight, you can't make me vote, and I'm gonna ask our fellow committee members not to vote. And you can postpone it to another time, move the table, somebody can, I'm not going to, and it's nothing personal. I just think if I'm going to vote on something, I should have a choice in who is nominated to be on these committees that you bring in here. At least have the choice to stand up and add to the nomination.
Okay.
Nominees that are presented to.
Questions have been called, so we're gonna go ahead and,
Well, Mayor, I'm not disputing. Let that
question's
man
been
get his
called,
talk,
Amy.
Jack.
question's been called.
So I asked my fellow commissioners, hey, I was told when I came in here, and no disrespect to Mr. Chairman up here, Mr. DeWitt, but I'm gonna ask, we don't vote on it. I was told that the county commissioners run this county, and the mayor takes his instructions from what we want to do.
On most
Am I wrong,
things, yes.
guys? Am I wrong?
On most things, yes, Commissioner Clance.
So
On
let's take a
this,
stand, okay? And then we'll work this out. Somebody wants to table it later, let's do that. I think we need to postpone it to another time, and let's work this out in committee or something.
Well, I think one of the things you ought to be aware of is the statute you're working under, is a state statute as far as who does the nomination and then the commission voting on that same. So you have a choice of who you're going to put on there, whether you're going to vote them in or not, but it is the mayor's prerogative with statute to do the nominations.
Then he doesn't need our votes, he can do that.
okay, it's been moved and seconded. Do we have any other further discussion? Questions have been called. Let's go ahead and vote.
Five yes, 8 no, 1 abstain.
Okay, motion has not passed. We'll have another,
I like to change mine to no, I'm sorry. I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. May I do that?
Once it's been announced, hopefully you can, but it's
You can
okay.
change his vote anytime during the meeting.
Can't change it after, matter.
Anyway, I.
abstain's as good as a no anyway, so it's a moot point. It's a moot point. All right, that resolution fails, and we'll come up with another nomination for next month. And it's gonna be another, I have to nominate and you all have to approve. So we'll go from there. Yes,
May I make a correction?
certainly.
Mr. Patterson, the phone number is 276-8842. And I have that.